All right, what is up, guys? All right, this is a full breakdown on how Marcelo lost 11 pounds or 13 pounds in 11 weeks. And this is I'm just trying to find the screenshot. I believe that, okay, this is obviously way too big. Yeah, but literally I'll try to put the picture in the background, but essentially this is not the one. I guess it is the one. Okay, that's whatever. All right, so that is how he lost. Oh, this is a better one. Barely. All right, so essentially, right, there's three things that go into it, right? Number one is there's training, there's nutrition, and there's actually staying with this program. There's actually staying accountable, right? So for training, right, first up, very simple. I just asked Marcelo, all right, how many days can you train? He told me 4 days. I created him a 4-day program. Like, it honestly is simple stuff, right? We did a chest and biceps, back triceps, shoulders and abs, and then legs. So literally four workouts a week, and he stuck with it. And the biggest thing the biggest reason he actually made progress, because with actually, like, what we did was I made him track his progress, right? So putting him on my client app, right? What he did, he tracked every single set, rep, and weight. And the biggest thing he did, appreciate you, John, what he did is he focused on getting stronger every single time. So for example, bicep curls 1 week, maybe he's doing 10 pounds, 3 sets of 10 reps. The next week, he would aim to do 12 reps, right? He would do 12 reps, or he would up the weight, right? So that's basically progressive overload. Every single week, you want to make it harder on your body to force your muscles to grow even more. So always, every single set, or every single session, you want to be pushing more than you did the last week. So doing more reps, adding a rep to every single set, maybe even adding a set or adding some weight, right? So that's what you want to focus on with training. I truly believe that training isn't the biggest factor when it comes to actually dropping body fat. The biggest thing is nutrition and staying with it. I think training matters the least. Yes, it is super important, of course, but you can have a crappy program and train hard with it, but you can't out-train a bad diet, right? Even if you have the best workout split in the world, but you're eating crappy, you're not going to make progress. So that's why I believe that training is second, but nutrition is most important. And we'll talk about that next. So initially, Marcelo knew how to track his calories. If he didn't, of course, I teach him how to do that, but he downloaded an app called MyFitnessPal and began tracking his calories. Actionable step that you can do right now is literally download MyFitnessPal right now and start tracking your calories. Because when you know what you're putting into your body calorie-wise and protein-wise, that's when you can start making progress. If you're watching this and you want to lose weight and you do not track your calories, you are really going to struggle to get lean. So start tracking your calories literally this day, okay? Literally this next meal that you eat. When you eat lunch, dinner, start tracking calories. All right, so that's that. So he gave me his information, like his body weight, his height, his activity level, and then I plugged that into tdecalculator.net. It spat me out a number, and that was his maintenance calories. And then in order to lose weight, you just need to eat a bit less below your maintenance, right? Because maintenance calories is essentially how many calories you need to eat every single day to maintain your weight. To lose weight, just eat less. So that's what we did, right? I told him to eat a 300 calorie deficit. So for him, that was around 2,300 calories. And honestly, we've been working together for 13 weeks. We haven't made a whole lot of adjustments to his program, because initially what we created for him was this 300 calorie deficit. He's been losing weight so steadily, which you can literally see in this graph. It's been working really, really well. But know your calories, know your protein, and track everything you eat, right? This coffee right here, right? Yes, coffee is 0 calories, but I made sure to measure out and literally weigh on my scale how much milk I was putting in. And you need to do that with everything you eat. Of course, things like water or diet sodas, you don't need to do that essentially. But when it actually comes to anything that actually has calories, that actually has substance, you need to be tracking that and weighing that out on a food scale. Making sure that he was getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, right? So he started weighing 163 around there. Now he's weighing like 150. Oh no, his starting weight was 170, 169.3, and now he's weighing around like 150, 156. So yeah, that's about 13 pounds, right? And so we were shooting for 170 grams of protein per day, right? So he was doing that through, breakfast, for example, overnight oats with some oats, scoop of protein powder, some milk, right? That's a good solid amount of protein. Or another breakfast he ate was like 4 eggs and some low fat cheese. And then lunch and dinner usually was like a Greek yogurt bowl and, say chicken rice or beef and potatoes, or it was always a meat paired with a carb, paired with a vegetable, chicken, potatoes, broccoli, or steak, rice, and, I don't know, name another vegetable, no matter what it was, right? We kept it up in the air just because we didn't, I'm not going to make him eat foods he doesn't want to. So I left it up to him. I taught him, okay, these are the foods this is the structure we want to follow. Insert what foods you want to eat. And there we go. That's how you lose weight, right? And essentially like why I left it up to him and instead of like forcing him to follow a meal plan he didn't want to is because when it comes to actually being consistent, I know I say this all the time, and you guys have probably heard this plenty of times, but when it actually comes down to it, you're never going to follow a plan that you actually don't want to follow, right? Your discipline is going to fade after a week of eating bland foods that you hate, right? If your coach ever tells you that, all right, this is your meal plan, chicken, broccoli, and rice, 2 meals a day, and, bland egg whites in the morning, fire that man immediately or woman, because that is literally a crappy meal plan. I've got my clients eating literally the best foods on the planet. I've got my clients eating protein pancakes, like homemade McChickens, homemade pizzas, homemade like protein brownies, because why on earth would you eat bland food when you could be eating amazing food like that? It just doesn't make sense, right? So learning how to cook these high protein meals and fitting them into your diet is where it's at. Because if you don't feel the need to cheat on your diet and just go literally binge on a bunch of food, like go buy pizza, buy McDonald's, if you can literally eat a McChicken every single day, it's like you're not even on a diet and you're still losing weight, right? I have them eating like kings so that they don't feel like they're on a diet, right? So that's going to be the biggest thing to help you stay consistent. Making sure that what you're doing is something that you could follow for the rest of your life. If you want to lose weight, you need to do it in a sustainable way, doing it in a way that you'd be able to follow again for the rest of your life. I tell my clients, if you cannot follow this diet that you want to try for the rest of your life, let's not even bother trying it for 1 week because you're not going to be able to stay consistent, right? Imagine your coach tells you, all right, and you're going to be eating chicken, rice, and broccoli 3 days a week or 3 meals a day for 16 weeks. But there's no way that I would be doing that because literally why would I want to do that? That literally is not it at all. And I would never be able to stay consistent with that for the rest of my life. So it's not something I'm going to try in the long term. And how do we really stay consistent, right? I know that you guys have been wanting to know that as well. How do you really stay consistent? It really is going to come down to like your relationship with not only food, but also with consistency, right? Because when you have that right mindset, when you have that right mental health, you're going to look at everything much better, right? You might find yourself, if you have a crappy relationship with food, right? Situation A is like, okay, crappy relationship with food. I feel stressed. I'm going to take out my stress by eating food. And then my calories are going to go up and I'm not going to lose weight. Situation number 2 is, you have a better relationship with food and you realize, okay, I'm stressed right now, but eating all this junk food is not going to make me feel better. I'm not going to do it. That person B ends up taking their stress out on the gym, actually builds muscle, and actually gets into better shape, right? It's going to come down to that. If you feel like you struggle with that area, it is honestly hard to just learn online. And a lot of my clients have struggled with the same thing. And that's why sometimes it's nice to have someone looking over and just giving you a second opinion. I struggled with that in the past as well. When I literally ate like crackers, even when I wasn't hungry, ate like all the junk food in the house because I was stressed, right? That's because I didn't have the best relationship with food. Fortunately, having a coach has allowed me to improve that relationship with food so that I no longer need to take out my emotions while eating mindless snacks and sabotaging myself, right? We all know what it's like to sabotage that progress. Dude, I appreciate the follow, but that essentially is it, right? It's hard to learn, but that's why we hire coaches, right? Because literally you can just invest in yourself and get that transfer of knowledge, right? I hired a coach so that he could teach me all his years of learning, okay, this is how you overcome this addiction with food. This is how you better track your macros, how you better lose fat, right? Essentially. So staying consistent is really going to come down to your relationship with said thing, your relationship with training, your relationship with exercise, your relationship with food. For example, say that when you're really, really stressed, you just don't eat at all. Well, that's also not good, because then you're literally going to lose a bunch of weight, but a bunch of muscle as well. Not just fat, a bunch of muscle. I literally have a friend who, she got stressed like over the last couple exams and she didn't even eat at all, right? That's just how her brain works. No fault to her. That's just how it goes. And she didn't eat anything and she lost like a crazy amount of weight, not just fat, but also muscle, which isn't ideal, because that relationship with, food and exercise was just stressed out. It was just not the way to handle it, right? Or same thing with exercise. Imagine you're super, super stressed out and you decide like, okay, I'm just going to exercise. Like, I don't like how I look. I'm really going to exercise myself pretty much to death until I feel better about myself. And then you run like 10K and you starve yourself and you lose a bunch of muscle and you don't lose a lot of fat. Like, that's not a healthy relationship, okay? And if it's not a healthy relationship and if you're not aligned to what you're actually doing, what actions you're doing, you're not going to be able to stick with it, and you're just going to relapse on all your terrible behaviors. So essentially it's that. Before you try to lose weight or build muscle or make progress, the first thing you need to do is actually set your mindset up for success. And obviously nobody wants to hear that, and that's why nobody actually makes progress, right? That's why, like, in the first week of my programs, I have my clients to go through a welcome week where I do my best to teach them the fundamentals of the mindset behind consistency, right? If we don't establish that initial mindset at the very start, then the rest of the program is just going to crumble, because they don't have what it takes off the rip. When they actually learn, okay, this is the relationship I need to have with food, the relationship I need to have with exercise, with that, then they're prepared to actually make progress. So if you're watching this right now and you feel like your relationship with food or exercise is a little skewed, you need to focus on that first. You need to fix that before you actually try to improve in any other areas of life. So that's what I have for you, training, nutrition, but ultimately accountability and improving your relationship with said thing that you want to improve, right? Just another example, like if you had a spending addiction and every time you felt stressed, you went out and bought something, but your goal was to save up money, you need to fix the initial problem of having that spending addiction and spending when you feel stressed. Like spending your calories, it's the same way, because otherwise you're just never going to solve that issue. You need to solve the problem before you try to go about and fix like the next goal, right? So that's what I have for you guys. If you want help implementing all of this into your already busy life while working, a busy job, comment fit in the comments below and I'll reach out to see if I can help. But apart from that, thank you so much to anyone who showed up. Again, if you want help implementing all of this into your already busy life, comment the word fit in the comments and I'll get back to you to see if I can help. But that's all I have for you. Thank you everybody who tuned in. Really much appreciated, and I'm here to help you guys. I know how tough it can be to struggle with like eating disorders and exercise and not liking the way you look. Like, I've been there, I feel you, and I'm here for you. I'm here for y'all. Like, man to man, like, I know what it's like. So, here to support. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.